Have you ever wondered what really happens inside their mind when you suddenly go silent? Most people think ghosting simply makes the other person curious and even slightly annoyed. But the truth? It creates a storm of emotions they never saw coming. Fear, confusion, regret. They don't tell you, but they feel it. The pain you're carrying right now, the heartbreak, the urge to reach out to explain yourself. That's not weakness. The spark can either burn you down or forge you into someone far stronger. Silence is not absence. Silence is power if you know how to hold it. Right now, you stand at a turning point. You can fall back into old patterns and give in to your emotions, or you can embrace this moment and become untouchable. If you're ready to stop being predictable and start being unforgettable, like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications and comment below. I control my emotions, not the world. Let's begin. Number 1. The sting of rejection, the pain of your absence. When you vanish from their life, it's not just about the loss of a person, it's about the sudden shock to their ego. You've become a familiar presence, someone they could rely on and knew would always be there. The moment you choose silence, their world is rocked. They weren't prepared for this, and it hits them deeply. They might not show it, but their pride is wounded, and they begin to question, what happened? Why did he leave? The sting of rejection is more than just emotional. It cuts to the heart of their self-image. Imagine this: you're a fixture in their life, like the sun that rises every day without fail. When it suddenly disappears, there's not only a physical void, but an emotional one that's hard to ignore. Their day no longer feels the same, their routine is disrupted, and they're forced to grapple with the reality that you've chosen to step away. That sting is their ego feeling the loss, but deep down, they know they never truly appreciated your presence until it was gone. Here's the opportunity. Your absence becomes a powerful tool for reflection. They may try to ignore the pain, but eventually they'll start to reflect on what they lost. This is the moment when they begin to feel the weight of their actions, realizing they took your presence for granted. Your silence forces them to confront their own behavior, something they likely avoided when things were easy and predictable. What can you do? Stay consistent in your silence. Don't give in to the urge to explain yourself or reach out. Let them experience the discomfort of missing you, and use this time to focus on your own personal growth. Redirect your energy into things that matter to you, your goals, your passions, your health. The more you invest in yourself, the stronger you become, and the more valuable your absence feels to them. The psychological impact of this is undeniable. As your silence continues, they begin to feel the weight of their actions. The more you stay absent, the more they wonder, why isn't he reacting? What has changed? Their sense of loss grows, and so does their understanding of the value you brought to their life. This shift in their perception is where the power lies. Now speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 2. The emptiness they didn't expect. Feeling the weight of your absence. At first, they might have convinced themselves that your departure would be easy to handle. Maybe they thought, I'll be fine without him, or I needed this space. But as the days go by, something they didn't anticipate begins to creep in. Emptiness. Not just the absence of messages or your physical presence, but a deeper void, the kind that unsettles them during the quiet moments of their day. You weren't just a person filling space, you were the comfort, the emotional stability, and the small joys woven into their daily life. The Stoics often reminded us that people only recognize value when it's gone. Seneca taught that we often overlook what is constantly in front of us, only realizing its significance when we no longer have access to it. This is exactly what happens when you step back. The void isn't just about missing conversations or laughs. It's the loss of the energy and reassurance you quietly brought into their world. Think about it like this. A favorite song that plays every day eventually fades into the background, but the day it's gone, its absence is deafening. That's the emotional effect you leave behind. They notice it when they wake up without your good morning message, when they pass by places filled with shared memories, or when they face life's daily challenges without the emotional support you used to provide. Here's the opportunity. This emptiness forces them to confront what they have lost. They might not immediately admit it, not even to themselves, but the feeling is there. The more they try to fill it with distractions, the clearer it becomes that nothing truly replaces what you gave. The realization doesn't come from a dramatic event. It builds quietly, day by day, as the comfort you once provided continues to be missing. What should you do? Let the silence linger. Resist the temptation to check in or give them even a small piece of the comfort they're now craving. Focus on yourself, your progress, your growth, your well-being. By continuing to invest in yourself, you make this void impossible for them to ignore. Psychologically, this is powerful. The emptiness you leave behind will begin to reshape how they view you. What was once overlooked now becomes precious. And when someone realizes too late how much something mattered, it creates a longing no words could ever replicate. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 3. The spark of uncontrollable curiosity. As time passes, emptiness alone isn't what consumes them, it's the questions that follow. Curiosity starts to bubble beneath the surface, quietly at first, but soon it becomes unmanageable. Where is he? Is he thinking about me? Has he moved on? The absence you created leaves space not only for reflection, but also for imagination. And the mind, when deprived of information, loves to fill in the blanks, often in ways that make you more desirable than ever. The Stoics would see this as the natural consequence of detachment. When you no longer react to someone, you no longer give them certainty, and humans deeply crave certainty. Epictetus reminds us that people aren't troubled by events, but by their interpretations of them. In your case, the event is your silence, but what truly troubles them is what they begin to imagine in the silence. Are you indifferent? Are you thriving? Is someone else giving you the attention they once had? Picture it like a movie ending with an unresolved mystery, the kind of story that lingers in the viewer's mind long after the credits roll. That's the space you now occupy in their thoughts. They may try to distract themselves, act unbothered, or even pretend they've moved on, but underneath, the curiosity is growing stronger. They wonder if you're hurting like they are, or worse, if you're not hurting at all. Here's the opportunity. You don't need to explain, clarify, or update them. Your silence, combined with your focus on growth, is creating the story for you. Every unanswered question keeps them hooked. The less they know, the more valuable every glimpse into your life becomes. This curiosity will often drive them to investigate indirectly, asking mutual friends, checking your social media, or searching for subtle clues about what you're feeling or doing. What should you do? Stay still. Stay silent. Keep living for yourself. Let their curiosity grow naturally. Don't give away too much, but don't be afraid to let them occasionally see you progressing. Subtle signs, not announcements. This is not manipulation, but the natural result of letting go and focusing on your own journey. Psychologically, this curiosity is addictive. The more uncertain they are, the more they crave answers, and in this space, you gain something powerful. They begin to chase you, not because you asked, but because their own mind pulls them toward you. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 4. The weight of self-reflection. Curiosity can be exciting, even thrilling for them at first, but as it lingers without resolution, it starts leading them somewhere deeper, toward uncomfortable self-reflection. They begin to question not just where you went, but why you went silent in the first place. Was it their indifference? Their neglect? Did they push you away without realizing it? Slowly, the narrative shifts from wondering about you to questioning themselves. The Stoics always taught that real growth comes from facing reality. Marcus Aurelius believed that self-examination was essential for a virtuous life. Right now, without even saying a word, you are holding up a mirror to them. They start recalling moments where they dismissed you, failed to reciprocate, or took your presence for granted. Whether this was a long-term relationship or a budding one, the realization hurts. They no longer just miss you, they regret their own actions. Picture it like standing in an empty room where your laughter, your care, your energy once echoed. Now, all that's left is silence. This silence forces them to face their own shortcomings without distractions. Even if they try to shift the blame outward or rationalize their actions, deep down they know, you didn't just disappear for no reason. Here's your advantage. You don't need to help them connect the dots. Your absence is doing all the work. The more you remain composed and focused on your personal journey, the deeper they'll fall into reflection. They'll replay old conversations, past choices, and wonder where they went wrong. Some may even recognize that their ego blinded them to what you were truly offering. What should you do? Absolutely nothing, except continue improving. Do not rescue them from their own reflection. Do not give them reassurance, explanations, or comfort. This is their moment to confront the consequences of their actions. Meanwhile, you should be directing all your energy toward your health, purpose, and peace. Psychologically, this reflection is crucial. It's often more painful than the initial breakup because it carries guilt. Regret is born not from missing someone casually, but from realizing that you were the one who failed to value them. By remaining silent, you are allowing them to fully feel this, and this realization often becomes the spark that drives them to want you back, not out of convenience, but out of genuine regret. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 5. The shift when they feel the urge to chase. At some point, the combination of emptiness, curiosity, and reflection reaches a tipping point. Suddenly, the person who once seemed so confident in walking away starts to feel the urge to reverse everything. The silence, the mystery, and their own regret create an undeniable pull. Without realizing it, they become the one who starts to chase, reaching out to you, checking in or testing the waters to see if there's still a chance. The Stoics would call this the reversal of roles. What once was theirs, the control, the power, is now in your hands simply because you chose not to react. Epictetus taught that control is not about forcing outcomes, but about governing your own actions and allowing the world to adjust accordingly. And that is exactly what's happening. You've governed yourself with calmness and dignity, and now they are the ones feeling unsettled, driven by uncertainty and longing. Imagine a hunter who suddenly realizes the prey has stopped running, not because it's cornered, but because it has no need to flee. This confuses them, disrupts their expectations, and instinctively they start moving toward you instead. Your indifference, rather than pushing them further away, actually pulls them in. You've stopped chasing, and that change unsettles them. Here's the opportunity. They will attempt to reconnect, often starting subtly. Maybe it's a harmless text, a comment on social media, or asking mutual friends about you. This is where many fail. They respond too quickly, eager to validate the returning attention. But if you truly want to maintain control, you must remain composed. Don't fall into the old dynamic where you immediately offer reassurance. Remember, it's not about playing games. It's about staying true to yourself. What should you do? Maintain your new position. Stay calm, stay focused on your growth, and don't rush back into their arms. Let them fully experience what it feels like to pursue you, to question if they even have a chance. The longer you hold this posture, the more their desire to reconnect will deepen. Not out of convenience, but out of a real, emotional need. Psychologically, this role reversal is powerful. They now associate you with strength, mystery, and independence. The urge to chase is not just about missing you, it's about regaining access to something they now realize they undervalued. And you? You hold all the cards, not because you manipulated them, but because you mastered yourself. Now speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 6. the silent conflict, relief or regret. In the early stages after you disappear, they may even convince themselves that it's a relief. Maybe it's better this way, they tell themselves. They might feel lighter without the relationship's weight, enjoying the temporary freedom and space. This is often what leads many to believe their absence went unnoticed, but this relief is deceptive and short-lived, because what's waiting beneath the surface is the far more difficult emotion of regret. The Stoics knew that temporary emotions, whether pleasure or pain, are unreliable judges of what is good for us. Marcus Aurelius taught that the initial reaction is often misleading and that only through reflection do we see the truth. This is exactly what happens here. The initial relief soon gives way to a growing realization they didn't just lose someone, they lost someone valuable. Imagine walking away from a beautiful garden, thinking you need fresh air, only to realize later that nothing else compares to the peace and beauty you just left behind. The longer they are away, the more noticeable the absence becomes. They remember the way you made them feel safe, heard, appreciated. Slowly but surely, the early feeling of relief is replaced by waves of regret and longing. Here's the opportunity you now have. By staying silent, you give them the space to experience this natural shift without interference. Many make the mistake of trying to interrupt this process, either by reaching out to fix things or by seeking validation, but the real power lies in allowing them to sit with this internal conflict, the back and forth between temporary relief and growing regret. What should you do? Keep focusing on yourself. Don't try to correct their narrative. Let them navigate this storm alone. In doing so, you become the steady, unshaken person they now lack. They will recognize that while they have been cycling through conflicting emotions, you have been quietly growing stronger and more grounded. Psychologically, this battle between relief and regret is essential for them to fully appreciate what they lost. Only when someone experiences both, the fleeting relief and the lasting regret, can they understand the gravity of their choices. And when the regret outweighs the temporary comfort, that's when they start to look back. Not just with curiosity, but with a deep desire to reclaim what they've lost. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 7. The game that fails when control slips from their hands. Eventually, when regret starts to settle in, many will attempt one last strategy. They will play the game. They might start posting carefully crafted updates on social media, showing off how unbothered or happy they are. They might act distant, even indifferent, hoping you'll take the bait and reach out first. This is a common reaction, an unconscious attempt to regain control of the situation without admitting vulnerability. The Stoics would call this a miscalculation of power. Epictetus reminds us that manipulation of others is not control, it's weakness disguised as strategy. When someone plays games instead of facing reality, it's because they are avoiding the discomfort of genuine emotion. By trying to provoke you into reacting, they are trying to flip the script back into their favor. They hope you'll break the silence, reach out, or fall into old patterns. But the power is now yours, not because you manipulate, but because you refuse to participate. Imagine a fisherman casting bait into a pond, waiting for the fish to bite, only to realize the fish has outgrown the bait. That's you. You've evolved past the game. Their attempts to lure you in with staged posts, indirect messages, or mutual friend gossip will start to feel desperate, not powerful. And the more you stay centered, the more ineffective these games become. Here's the opportunity. Recognize these actions for what they are, projections of insecurity. Do not let them shake you or pull you off your path. The strongest thing you can do is continue to live authentically without reacting. Your silence, your peace, and your growth are already speaking louder than any staged post or calculated move could ever achieve. What should you do? Ignore the bait. Do not comment, react, or show signs that their performance is getting to you. Focus on what you've been building. Let them sit with the realization that their tricks no longer work on you. The more you stay in control of yourself, the more uncomfortable they will become as their efforts fall flat. Psychologically, this is a major turning point. When they realize you're no longer playing the old game, it destabilizes them. They lose the illusion of control and are left facing the only thing that truly matters, their own feelings. And without your participation, the only option left for them is to either grow or walk away, empty-handed. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 8. The crushing weight of silence, when reflection becomes unavoidable. As the games fail and time keeps moving forward, your silence begins to take on a new, heavier meaning for them. At first, the quiet may have seemed like a temporary distance, something you'd eventually break. But now it feels suffocating. Each day that passes without a message, a call, or a sign from you presses more weight on their chest. Your silence becomes a mirror they can no longer avoid, forcing them to sit with their own thoughts, emotions, and regret. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." This is precisely what you have exercised. You chose not to react, not to retaliate, and not to explain. And this choice, though simple, has become unbearably loud to them. The longer you remain silent, the more they are forced to confront the truth without distraction. They begin to notice how empty their days feel without you, how conversations lack the spark they once had, how no one else fills the void you left behind. Imagine walking into a room where there used to be music, laughter, and warmth, only to find it eerily quiet. At first it's easy to ignore, but eventually the silence becomes unbearable. That is exactly how they feel. Every familiar place, song, or memory now reminds them of the absence you left behind. The silence doesn't fade, it amplifies. Here's your opportunity. By staying quiet, you've created the perfect space for them to process everything without interference. You don't have to make them feel this discomfort. It happens naturally. And in that silence, they will likely experience more reflection and realization than they ever would if you had stayed present. They will begin to wonder if they pushed you away too far, if you've already moved on, and if they have lost something irreplaceable. What should you do? Stay centered. Do not give them the relief of breaking the silence prematurely. Instead, continue building yourself, physically, emotionally, mentally. Focus on the parts of your life you can control, and let the silence continue to work on your behalf. Psychologically, this stage is vital. The crushing weight of silence is what forces them into the deepest stage of reflection. It isn't always regret alone. It's the overwhelming feeling that maybe this time you're truly gone. And once this thought settles in, their need to reconnect becomes more than a want. It becomes a desperate pull. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 9. The fear that drives them back. At some point, the silence no longer just weighs on them, it begins to scare them. This is when fear becomes the dominant emotion. Not just fear of missing you, but fear of losing you forever. They start to realize that you may have outgrown the need to be part of their story, that you might be building a life where they are no longer invited. This fear isn't just discomfort, it's panic, disguised beneath casual smiles and distractions. The Stoics remind us that fear often arises from clinging too tightly to things we do not control. In this case, they suddenly realize they have no control over you anymore. You are no longer accessible at the push of a button, no longer there to comfort them when convenient. The more you stay silent and focused, the more they begin to understand that they are powerless to bring you back unless you choose to return. Picture someone realizing they left behind a priceless treasure, only to discover the door to the vault is now locked. That treasure is you. They begin to question whether you've moved on, met someone new, or simply chosen peace without them. And the worst part for them? They don't have the answer, and they can't demand it. Here's the opportunity. This fear is not something you need to create artificially. It arises naturally when you choose to stand firm and protect your peace. You don't have to post cryptic messages or flaunt your growth. Simply continuing on your path is enough. This fear will pull them back towards you, not because you manipulated them, but because the fear of truly losing you is more than they can handle. What should you do? Remain silent. Stay focused on your personal evolution. Let the fear work without interference. They may begin to test the waters, reach out, or even try to casually re-enter your life. This is where your discipline matters most. Don't immediately open the door. Make them feel the gravity of the situation. Let them approach you with sincerity, not just out of fear, but out of genuine understanding of your value. Psychologically, this is the breaking point. Fear can drive people to act in ways they've never acted before. They may humble themselves, express emotions they never shared, or admit fault. And this only happens because you gave them the gift of space and silence, allowing them to feel what they would lose if they never act. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 10. The final pull, when fear turns into a desperate desire to reconnect. After fear has fully set in, something even more powerful begins to emerge, a desperate longing to bring you back. But this time, it's no longer about ego, games, or even curiosity. It's about survival. Emotionally, they begin to feel that life without you is incomplete. The absence you created is no longer just uncomfortable, it feels unbearable. What started as relief, shifted into regret, morphed into fear, now solidifies as a strong urge to reconnect at all costs. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the idea of acceptance, but here they haven't reached acceptance. They're still resisting. They want to reverse what has happened, to rewrite the story, to regain what has been lost. Their mind plays endless loops of what if, what have I done, and is it too late? This is not a light longing, it's an overwhelming emotional storm. They feel powerless, knowing they no longer have control over the situation. Worse yet, they know you hold the power now. Imagine someone swimming against the current, desperate to reach the shore but realizing the current is stronger than them. That's the emotional state they enter. They may start contacting you repeatedly, apologizing, reminiscing, or even pleading. In many cases, pride is abandoned entirely, and they are willing to accept your terms just to regain the connection they once took for granted. Here's the opportunity. You must remain calm and measured. Don't be swayed by the intensity of their return. Remember, you did not go through this entire process to fall back into old dynamics. If they want to reconnect, it must be on new terms. Your terms. You are not the same person you were before. You have grown, strengthened, and learned to find peace without them. Any possible reconnection must come from a place of mutual respect, not desperation. What should you do? Stand firm. Listen, but don't immediately accept. Let them show you, not just tell you, that they understand what they lost and are willing to meet you where you are now, not where you were when you first started. Make sure their desire to reconnect is genuine, not simply a reaction to discomfort or fear. Psychologically, this is where real change can occur. If they truly want you back, they will approach you differently. They will no longer be playing games, nor trying to control you. They will realize you are the prize, and this time they will know it's you who decides if they get a second chance. Now, speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. You started thinking silence would just make them miss you, but now you understand. It's not just about making them miss you, it's about becoming someone they cannot ignore. They didn't take your strength when they walked away, they only exposed the parts of you that were waiting to grow. If you're ready to rise above and continue this journey, like this video, subscribe and comment below. I am unstoppable. Stay disciplined, keep evolving, because the man you're becoming will never have to beg for attention again.